membership meeting. So today is going to be a lunch and learn. And I have a lot of new faces with me today, or with us. So raise your hand if this is your first monthly membership meeting with the chamber. Just gonna say yourself, put your hand down. Well, welcome. And what's really great about these monthly membership meetings is, of course, we're all, business professionals, but we like to make these extremely fun. I mean, you are taking your time out of your workday to come to a meeting, and we have so many work meetings, right? Whether that be on a daily basis or a weekly basis, monthly basis. So we always like to make these extremely fun and yet too very informative. For those of you who do not know who I am Sarah Steshukevich. I'm the CEO of the Orland Park Area Chamber of Commerce. Behind me, the guy with the camera, that is Mike De Guzman. He is our media coordinator. So if you at all have reached out to us in regards to marketing, promotional materials, he does a lot of our videos or anything on our Facebook or Instagram. This is the man behind the computer. He is the one that has been doing all of that. And then for those who have called the office, had questions about memberships, wanting to be part of our e-blast or wanting to be member of the week, the man that you have been dealing with is right here. That is Andy Boetta. He is our membership coordinator. So this is the OPACC squad right here. And we love doing these membership meetings because it's a great way for you all to put a face to the names that you deal with. Plus, it's a really great way for us to actually get to know you, meet you, and just give you information about all that we're doing. So you guys can really understand the benefits of being a chamber member. So what we're going to start with first is I'll just kind of give you a layout as to what we've all been doing in the office, upcoming events. We will be doing a fun little activity, hence why we asked you to grab the Post-its or a little piece of paper behind you, so we'll do that. And then I will hand it over to Elliot with the Small Business Advocacy Council, or SBAC for short. He'll be giving a presentation, and then after them, I actually have another guest speaker. His name's Brian. He's with a security company, and he's actually going to be showcasing a really cool new tool that you can use for business security. So, upcoming events with the chamber. On your table, you all have these brochures. Yes, we are having our OPACC Fest golf outing. That is October 7th. Something new that we are doing this year is we're actually hosting our golf event at Crystal Tree Golf and Country Club. So something new. In prior years, we always hosted it at Silver Lake, but we changed it up because our goal here at the chamber is to, of course, spread the wealth. We don't want to just keep, one member getting all of our events. We want to, of course, spread it out. It's only fair. And a lot of times, too, a lot of people have not golfed at Crystal Tree. So this is a fabulous opportunity for you to get some of your staff members or family, friends to get out on the course and to experience this private club. So this is our event coming up. Another event that we have that is brand new that we're doing is Spirits with Spirits on October 24th. Something brand new that we're doing. We are partnering with Elliot Park, and we'll be having a presentation where a ghost hunter is coming in and kind of talking about the experience going into historic haunted places in the Chicagoland area, as well as Indiana. Food, drinks will be served, and then following that presentation and, of course, networking too, we'll be loading up on a bus and heading to different areas around the area to see what streets and places are haunted. So, of course, October 24th, how fun, this is the season, Halloween. It's going to be tons of fun. Some more information coming soon. And then last, we have the Community Expo on November 2nd. That will be held at the Orland Square Mall. And something different this year is we are partnering with other chambers. So it's not just going to be the Orland Park Chamber hosting the Community Expo. We're actually partnering with Tinley, Mokina, Frankfurt, and the Southland Chamber. So all of us coming together to really provide a really phenomenal experience for all of our all of our businesses and nonprofits. So that's November 2nd. Again, more information will be coming after the Labor Day weekend. So what's new at the Chamber too, besides our events? The Orland Women's Networking group is starting to really kick off. We just had an ice cream social earlier this month, which was extremely successful, a lot of fun, and we're wanting to continue to amp up that committee. So our next event is going to be a breakfast on October 17th. It's just a really great way for professional women to get together and support one another, help each other, and just have fun. Young pros, so young professionals, we're in. Andy's the one leading that one. Well, I'm leading the OWN. Andy's leading the young pros. They just had their first meeting at BJ's Restaurant and Brew House. It's just a great way for those 40 and under to, again, get together, kind of explain, you know, their success stories, how you can help one another out, and again, just a really phenomenal way to network. So again, check out our website, orlandparkchamber.org. It has all of that information from our events to our committees, what we all do, or of course you can always call the office too and ask us any questions that you may have. One other thing that we're doing brand new too is we're really wanting to strengthen our relationship with members, and actually I went to a conference last week that was put on by the Illinois Association for Chamber of Commerce Professionals, or executives actually. And it gave me some really great ways as to how we can further advance and, you know, help you guys out as members, right? And one way that we're wanting to do that is by creating more long-term values for your membership versus just a moment-in-time experience. So, like, we don't want you guys just to call us up and say, hey, we want a ribbon cutting, we do a ribbon cutting, and then that's done. That's the moment in time, right? We really want to add a long-term value to that. So the team and I are really working on more ways as to how to do that. So this meeting, or I should say seminar, really provided us with a really great outlook as to how we can add more value to your membership. So you have these benefits, and you know, call us up and schedule a site visit. We want to meet with you. We want to learn, one, about what you do, what your business is, but also what problems are you facing? What issues do you have? And let us figure out, the chamber does this, the chamber does that. Let us help you. So for instance, if you're calling us and saying, hey, you know, we're having some issues like with marketing, we can help you with that. We can, you know, show you how to do certain things, or show you, you know, you have this ribbon cutting, Mike creates this really awesome video. Now we can show you how to, like, put that on your social media outlets, how you can also use that and put it on your website to really showcase your business and your participation as well in the chamber. So it's something that we're all working on, so we're really excited to deliver that to all of you. The other thing too is being a new member, because I see so many new faces, so again, thank you so much for coming here and supporting the chamber. But one thing that we do offer every 3 months are new member orientations, or even just a refresher too. So for members who have been with the chamber for a while, you're more than welcome to also participate in our orientations that we offer. They typically take place the third Friday every 3 months. So we had one in April, and we had one in July. The next one is going to be October 18th at 9 a.m. It's just a way to meet with us, network, but also learn all about the chamber perks, why be part of the chamber, or even too, the most important question, what does the chamber do? Like, what does the chamber do? What do we do as a chamber? What can we offer you? So a lot of people don't know that, or what we do, or what is a chamber. And that's a really good way to kind of delve deep into our jobs and how we can help you. All right, so that's what I have. Does anybody have any questions? No, okay. Activity. So what we're going to do is each of you have a Post-it note, and each one is going to be associated with a question. Those of you who were at the OWN ice cream social, it's going to be very similar to the M&M game. But I figured M&Ms could get a little messy as they were like melting in our hands, so we did Hostess instead. But they are fun questions. But of course they do have some, like, you know, there's work related a little bit. So for those who are blue, can you stand up? Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to go around the room. And why do we do this? A lot of our membership meetings, we do these icebreaker activities. And that's because it's a really great way for, number one, everybody gets to introduce themselves. Number two, everybody gets to say what business they're from or what they do. And that way, too, it really breaks that ice for people who are a little bit more introverted. So then you can go to that person and be like, oh, yeah, you know, I'm looking for somebody with that service, and you're just the person I'm looking for. Again, this kind of breaks the ice and makes everybody comfortable. So, the blue, you're going to state your name, your business or nonprofit organization that you're from, and what was your first job ever?
Hi, I'm Ray Parsaw. I'm a real estate appraiser full-time, real estate broker part-time. I'm director of the Orland Park Chamber of Commerce. So glad to be around such a great CEO as Sarah and everybody else. And I've got the longest running real estate show now since Fox, ABC, and NBC, 17 years, realestatereveal.com. And I tried to introduce myself to most of you here today and get the numbers and give you my cards. And I think this is great. This is all about networking. I mean, how I advanced over all the years is I met new people, become friends with more people, and you don't know, 6 months, a year, 1 month later, you know somebody that I don't know, and I know somebody that you don't know, and we network and we help each other, and that's really a great thing about this meeting. So, my first job was really cool. I grew up in the south side of Chicago, Roseland and West Pullman, and walked everywhere, took the bus, and my dad's family came over from Italy, mom's from Poland, and we didn't have really much, but we had a great family, great neighborhood, and we go to the Park District to play. And so my first job was a recreation leader at West Pullman Park District. It was really cool. There was hundreds and hundreds of people, and you either got to work with in age brackets for the summer, a couple of months summer break. It was 7 to 9-year-olds, 10 to 12, and then the teens, and it was so great. I learned wood making, and I learned how to be a lifeguard. I learned how to swim, play tennis, baseball. All the activities were so great, and then you lived in the city. It was great to be a part of a park district because they had so many activities. So it really changed my life. I think I was 11 years old and I worked there for like 5 or 6 years, and it was really great. A recreation leader at West Pullman Park District in Chicago. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, we'll go back here.
My name's Andy Thompson. I'm with Density USA. I'll be one of the speakers later, but I sell Density Security Fog. So security manager I'll talk about 2 years later. My first job out of college, I had odd jobs in high school and stuff, but I worked for Johnson & Johnson Personal Products and actually sold feminine hygiene products to grocery stores.
Interesting.
We sold stay free, carefree. So our motto was, we can't walk the walk, but we can talk the talk. There you go.
My name is Bob Goes. I'm the principal architect at RKG Design Group. We're in the Roland Park area. So I help people communicate with the business environment of construction, design, just like a lawyer or a doctor. We solve problems as we go. My first job was at Ravensville Country Club as a busboy, which now my daughter's getting married there in 2 months. And of course I worked there back in the 80s. Went in there to take the tour and didn't recognize a lot of it, but I do remember the brass pole that I used to have to polish. Anyway, just comment on you. Yes, I grew up in the Roseland, West Pullman, played Little League there too. I play in a vintage baseball team, 1858 rules. So we have a game on Saturday at Pullman Park for
Nice.
their
Fun.
historical thing going on this weekend.
Nice.
You're going to be in the neighborhood.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Cindy Brew. I'm an Orland Park Chamber Ambassador, excited to do that, and then also a part of the OWN networking group. or committee, I should say, in launching a community publication in Orland called Orland Park Living, and really trying to connect residents with local businesses to really help increase exposure for local businesses. And there's also a second touch with digital and listings to really help you get seen in the area. And we have such a great area. We want to make sure that the residents are aware of all of these great businesses locally. So my first job, unofficially, was babysitting, which I loved. And then in high school, I worked in a bank, and it really taught me how to really save my money and make sure that I was responsible, save for college and that sort of thing. So that's just kind of stayed with me for sure.
Hi, everyone. I am Michelle Cruz with Edwards Realty Company. I am their office and marketing manager. I am also on the OWN committee, as well as the golf outing committee. Ramsey Hassan, who's the president, is my boss. First job, babysitting, but in high school, I was a cashier for the local drugstore in Lockport.
Oh, interesting.
My name is Karen Walsh. I am the account rep with Doug Carroll Clean. We are the emergency medics of disaster relief. We are a nationwide corporation. We deal with water, fire, mold. Biohazard is another one of our big things that we work with. And my first job, I worked at a gift shop where I, had a lot of customers that would come in regularly, and it was just, that a long time ago when things were way different. Now I think everybody just goes online and hits the Amazon button and gets sent to door, and it's less than 24 hours. So I worked at a old-fashioned gift shop.
All right, friends. Green. It's pretty amazing what you actually learn about people. Like, I'm friends with Michelle, and I never knew that about her. So, all right, green. Nope, that's yellow, my friend. Green. All right. Green people. All right. If you could pick any place, city to work, where would it be?
Start out with me.
I'm going to start with you, Jeff.
All right, Jeff Opley. I work with Edward Jones, for Edward Jones. I live in Frankfurt. My office is right at the both place in the range, so financial advisor. Let's see, place to work.
Any place, city, besides here?
I'm gonna go on with London, England. You took mine. I was.
Have you been
I
there?
kind of knew. I figured. You just, no, I visited there 2 years ago. 2 years ago.
Okay.
And just a wonderful city. And yeah, and we did have an office there. We were trying to get into the UK. It didn't work out, but darn, hopefully do that again.
Right. All right. Nice.
Yep.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Angela DeMarco Snow, and my company is New Chapter with Angela. I am a master certified dating and relationship coach and a professional matchmaker. I like to say that I help people from dating to maintaining, or I always say if you're single and ready to mingle, you need to talk to me, or if you're mingling, keeps you singling, then you definitely need to talk to me.
Sarah and I will have a meeting.
And I facilitate singles events too throughout. And so that's me, New Chapter of Angela. But, oh my God, a city. I love Chicago. I've been here all my life. However, if I could pick anywhere, I'd go to Italy. I'd probably go to Venice, and that's because, and this is kind of ridiculous, but I'd be searching for Giancarlo, who came into Bonefish one day, because I met Randy at Bonefish Grill, but he lives in Venice, and I would set myself up and then him.
Hi, my name is Benita Robertson, and I'm going to Venice so I can take advantage of what you offer with that. No, my name is Benita Robertson. I have Robertson's Road to Retirement. I retired from the post office, and my business has been in existence for 3 years. So right now, I'm just trying to help my own postal employees. I assist them with their retirement paperwork. I deal with singles, not singles, I'm just focused on that. Seniors and veterans. Seniors and veterans, and so right now I'm just trying to help postal employees, but I want to expand to help everybody with retirement and budgeting and beneficiaries and just being aware of what you can transition to and get on the road to retirement so you can enjoy your life or do anything you want to do. If I could live work anywhere, it would probably be, I think it's St. Thomas. I saw it on TV and it was so beautiful, and I would probably been there. Okay, let's talk later. I would sit on the beach with a laptop and just hang out and enjoy life all day.
I love it. Brian, we gotta go back to you. I didn't see you.
I'll stay after class for that. My name is Brian Callahan. I'm a resident of Orland Park, and I own Callahan Security. I'm actually a vendor for the city. I work with Andy with Density Fog, part of my group of products. I'm actually going to the place I would like to work, which is Ireland, in 2 weeks.
Nice.
I've been wanting to go there for 30 years, and every time I had a trip planned, I had another kid. So I'm going to be amongst my people. I can't wait.
Thank you. Linda.
I'm Linda Bassett with Bank Financial, and we want to help all businesses with their needs, lending, deposits, insurance, whatever you guys have. And I would love to live in Coronado, California. I lived there once before. The weather's beautiful. It's just, my dream. So, one day.
I'm Lindsay Evans. I own Liberty Point Consulting. We are bookkeepers and fractional CFOs for small businesses. I also own Liberty Point Realty. We focus on residential and commercial real estate. Jeff took my place. I picked another one. If I could work anywhere, I would go to Pasadena, California. I actually was looking into moving there and just getting licensed. It looks like I love it so much. So Pasadena, California.
Very nice.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. My name is Natalia Borowska. I'm the Community Engagement Policy Specialist at the SBAC. If I could live anywhere, I guess I would say New Orleans. I was just there last year, and it's a great vacation spot. The food's amazing, the music's amazing, and just the entire energy's a really good time. So, okay.
Cool. Very nice. All right. You're green.
Hello, my name is Andy Boyd. I'm the membership coordinator of the Orland Park Chamber of Commerce. So besides that, I guess to share also what I do personally in my own life, business-wise related, I'm a music instructor. I teach music, and I also teach improv, acting improv for kids on Sundays, and it's my passion. I love teaching.
Where do you teach at?
I teach a house of music, and I also teach at home, so if you want me to go to your house, I also do that.
Do you teach piano?
That's my main instrument, yes. Piano and guitar, and also a little bit of drums and theory. Teach you how to read, write, and analyze music, and write music, and compose, and all that stuff. And places that I would love to go work or live at, I would say maybe Vancouver, Canada. I visited a friend a couple of years ago, and it's lovely. I love mountains. I'm from Mexico, Monterrey. They're surrounded by mountains, so it's got mountains, it's got forests, and it's got the ocean, which I love all of those things. So that was my thing.
All right. Any other greens? All right, yellow. There's your green. All right. So this question is, if you could pick any famous person to work with, who would it be? Elliot, should we start with you?
Oh, sure. Abraham Lincoln, because he's Abraham Lincoln, and he was, an incredible figure for the country.
There we go. And this is Elliot, everybody, with the Small Business Advocacy Council. So he'll be the one presenting after our fun activity and us grabbing the lunches. Thank you, Elliot.
Good afternoon. My name is Mike Ivanich. I am with Tech Credit Union. I am the manager of membership growth. We just opened up a little over a year ago on 179th Street. So this is the first time that I've been to one of these meetings, and it's a lot of fun. I'm going to make sure I come to more.
Yes.
Even though I'm traveling from Indiana. But I guess famous person, well, this is gonna sound silly, but I love animals. All right, I love dogs. I would love to just spend time with Dr. Paul.
Dr. Paul, okay.
Yes, that would be awesome.
Yes, that show was really interesting.
Oh, I love
Oh my
it.
gosh, yes.
Ridiculous.
All right, well, thank you. All
Yep.
right, guys.
I'm Barb Hendrickson. I'm with Faith United Methodist Church under the publicity chair, and it's a volunteer position. In my career, I've done a variety of different things. So I guess if I would want to work with somebody, why not Oprah Winfrey?
All right, very nice.
Matthew Meniger with the Money Store. I'm a residential lender, 8 years. We're here in Orland Park, and I also live in Orland Park. And I'm a huge music guy, so play guitar, sing, do a bunch of stuff. And I would love to work with Mozart. Just be alive, right?
No, they do not. If there's anybody. All right, well, thank you guys. Anybody else with yellow? All right, orange. Any oranges? Just one? Just one? All right, Ed, what was your favorite job, past or present?
All right, first off, my favorite job.
Well, first introduce yourself and then your job.
Oh, okay. My name is Edward Gasek. I am the owner and operator of Maxim Maintenance. We do commercial cleaning. I'm also the director, ambassador, and executive president of the chamber. I'm just a boring person in general. My favorite job, I started seeing when I was 8 years old, working in a hot dog stand, because I got paid $3 after each day, and I spent that $3 for 2 hot dogs. So
I ate your Well, you can go in this one.
Since we only have one orange, I'll go ahead and
All
go.
right.
So I am Mike, as Sarah introduced me, I'm the media coordinator at the chamber. When I'm not doing the media coordinating, I've been a touring musician for the last 14 years. So I would say that's my favorite job when I'm not doing this. Love this, but just being able to travel. We've toured over the country and overseas, and yeah, it's nice to have that balance of something stable along with living that dream.
What instrument do you play?
Keyboards, guitar, and bass.
And I don't play one musical instrument. Just saying. They keep wanting to teach me, so. All right, red. Anybody red? All right. Nice, all right. We have all the colors. I love it.
Is this red or pink?
That's pink. That's pink. Red. We'll start here and wrap our way around. How do you spend your evenings after work? I'm Sophie.
I'm Tom Cracknell from the Southwest Cook Cooperative for Special Education Transition Program. So I help students 18 to 22 get job placements so that they can carry that hopefully for the rest of their life. I have kids, so what I do every day is a different gamut, I guess. But we do play music at home, so we usually have a little jam day. We watch pets, girls that have a pet city business, so we walk neighborhood cats and dogs. And then my son's into RC racing, so we hit up RC tracks. And then somewhere in between, I work on some classic cars. So.
Me? Okay. My name is Kathy Boyd, and I work for Practical Library. I'm a communications department person. And after work, I am also a parent. I have 3 kids, 7 daughters and 2 little boys. And so after work, I'm taking my son to soccer practice, making sure my daughter did her math, and all those.
Great. Hello, everyone. I'm the Community Engagement Manager at the Orland Park Public Library. I know you emailed me. I'm gonna get back to you. My
white, and last but not least, pink.
Rob is ready.
Bob is ready, and I'm pink. All right, friends. Well, number one, introduce yourself, the job that you have, and when you were a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up? And of course, are you doing that job? So, we'll start with you.
My name is Lauren Terry. I'm actually the area sales manager for here. And when I grew up, I wanted to be a teacher because it's so funny. I wanted a pencil mug. My mom said, "You could just get one without being a teacher."
The status symbol.
Yeah, I was like, I want a pencil mug, so I'm gonna be a teacher. I'm not doing that now.
I love that.
But we still laugh about it to this day. So
Yes.
it's really funny.
I'm Susan Parisi. This is my first meeting, newly joined with the chamber, and I own with my husband a painting and maintenance company, Elite Maintenance and Painting. We are based out of Orland. We grew up in Orland. We went through all the schools in Orland, so it was a good time. And I wanted to be a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader.
That would be a fun job.
It was, and my cousin and I, one of her neighbor ladies made us these cute little outfits, and we'd rag roll our hair, and it was a big to do. And then we'd have photo shoots. So it was a lot of fun.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
My name is Elise Simcox, and I work for CTF Illinois, which is a nonprofit up the road in Orland. We're in the old St. Xavier campus building. And we service, we provide day programming, vocational opportunities, group homes to adults with developmental disabilities. And when I was younger, I wanted to be a doctor, but I went to SIU in Carbondale, and quickly, I don't think I was going to do further schooling than just getting that bachelor's. I had to tap out after the bachelor's. So. Yeah, it was a very fun school. Yeah.
My name is Mary Land, and I work for Tech Credit Union. I head up the Treasury Management Department, which is an island of one. I created that department. They didn't have that. And so this is my first meeting in Orland here. I wanted to be a flight attendant and had to apply for it. By the time I got my acceptance letter, I was 6 months pregnant with my first child. So I didn't go on the interview. So that's my claim to fame.
Hi, my name's Rob Waymeyer. My wife and I are owners of Waymeyer Photography, Waymeyer Portraits. We split between doing family and children on one side, but also doing 35 years of corporate communication and business photography. So we create imagery for businesses to help augment your branding and marketing messages. Kind of help stop the scroll in these days. That's our big job. I'm also chair of the ambassadors group, so you heard these people around here. I kind of try to herd them to events.
There are lots and lots of fun, by the way, if you want to get
We
involved.
have a lot of fun. I'm also a past president and also chaired a number of committees over the years. So, careers. To be frank, I was the last of 4 boys, and I'm 8 years younger than my nearest sibling, and there was not a lot of pressure on what to do. I had no idea what I wanted to be. And I bought my first camera. I actually did. My first job was painting overhead doors at my dad's business, brown. 9 huge overhead doors I had to paint brown. I saved that money up and bought my first camera in 1979. And then I fell into photography in college. So that's been my love career for 35 years, 40 years. So, answer your question.
And last but, so for me, who I am by now, but my name is Sarah. But when I was a little girl, I always wanted to be a veterinarian. So that's what I wanted to do, and I actually have 2 fur babies at home. I have a Siberian Husky, Tundra, and a Jack Russell Terrier, Kahlua. And I didn't take that route because, one, I would probably be broke, because if somebody came to me and said, oh, I couldn't afford the surgery or this, the service or anything, I'd be like, I'll just do it for free. Just so your dog or your cat can be healthy. So, and then plus I couldn't even think about putting a fur baby to sleep. So I'm like, you know what, I'm too emotional, I could not do it, so I went a different route. But that was what I wanted to be when I was a little girl. All right, so before I hand it over to Elliot, what we're gonna do is thank you so much to Lauren and to the hotel for providing lunch. So over there, there's box lunches, sandwiches, chips, and fruit, so help yourself. You can just form a line, grab your lunch, take a seat, and then Elliot, I'm handing it over to you.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Are they all the same?
I'm really, really thankful to be here. Sarah was out here talking, not behind the podium, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to venture out. Love working with the Orland Park Chamber of Commerce. I'm Elliot Richardson. I'm the president of the Small Business Advocacy Council. I've seen some of you before at chamber events, so it's great to see you again. And I just want to say one of the wonderful things I think that the Orland Park Chamber does for all of its members is we talk with Sarah, we hear about some of the issues that are impacting your businesses, and that really does inform some of the policy work that we do as a group. So they're very active, they're very engaged, and again, thank you for the opportunity to be here and to share what we're doing with your members. So I'm going to talk briefly about the SBAC. You can stop me anytime you want. Seriously, you could ask questions. Hearing me talk, what is this, like 20 minutes, Sarah? Okay, hearing me talk for 20 minutes is not anything that anybody wants to do, all right, when I'm just talking straight. So after I talk a little bit about what the SBAC is, how we do what we do, I'll talk about our policy initiatives, some of the things that we've passed and some of the things that we're working on now. And I'd love to open it up. If you have questions, if you have ideas, if there's things impacting your business, we'd love to hear about it. So we started the SBAC about 14 years ago now. The folks who started it, myself included, didn't really have any experience in the chamber world, the business organization world. I found myself extraordinarily frustrated with politics as it pertains to small businesses. I was frustrated with both parties, all parties. I found myself yelling at the TV. People always say, what's the why, right? My why is I was losing my voice. Because I would hear politicians talking about small business being the backbone of the economy. Hey, we're the engine that drives the economy, right? But we really didn't see any significant action when it came to really passing policies and initiatives that supported small businesses. And this started right around the financial collapse in 2008, 2009. Health insurance rates were going through the roof, and we still see escalating health insurance rates. And we'll talk about that in a second. So we all started getting together in rooms like this, at bars, for breakfast, and it was sort of like cause-based networking. People were getting together, and they were talking about what sort of things could help their business, and the SBAC was essentially born. What we do, and what we've been doing for the last 14 years, and we've gotten better at it, we've learned, we have lobbyists now. I mean, when we started, we just didn't know anything other than we were really frustrated, right? And we didn't feel like we had a voice. We formulate policies that will support small businesses and communities. We do that at the state, a federal, and really a city of Chicago level. So, some of the things we've done, some of our wins over the past many years, is on a federal level, we really fought to make sure PPP loans were deductible. I know it seems like a million years ago when all of that was going on. It wasn't, but people were really afraid those loans they took out weren't going to be deductible and would impact their taxes. So that's one of the things we did here, try to galvanize the Illinois delegation to push that forward. We championed lowering LLC fees, and we were successful. It took us a while. But now if you pay for an LLC, if you start an LLC in Illinois, instead of paying $500, you're paying $150. Instead of renewing every year for $250, you're renewing for $75. Literally, that policy initiative came out of a meeting just like this at the Parthenon in Greektown. Somebody said, I own like 3 real estate companies, and every year I file, I have to pay $250. It's amongst the highest fees in the nation. What can we do about it? So we found a sponsor. I'll talk about that in a moment. We filed legislation. We spent 2 years galvanizing chambers and business advocates and small businesses. We sent postcards to legislators. We did everything we possibly could, and we were able to pass that bill. And famously, I found out it was passed during veto session. I coach football, and I was coaching. It was like 25, 30 degrees. It was like the coldest November day, youth football. And we found out that thing had passed, and the big joke is like all the kids on the field had no idea why I was jumping up and down, when normally they're supposed to be jumping up and down. In Chicago, you used to need to get your public way use permit. Do y'all know what that is? That's to hang like a simple sign, right? Not even a sign that overhangs, but a simple sign. You have to get that thing passed by the entire city council. Can you imagine that 50 aldermen across the city voting on your little sign? You're nodding your head. Yeah, it's crazy, right? We were able to eliminate that requirement. So no longer does the city council have to vote on every public way use permit. I've got a couple more, and then I'll get to what we're doing now. We passed a bill in 2018. Now, this is really interesting. This bill causes agencies that are going to issue rules and regulations to do an economic analysis on how that bill will impact small businesses, publish that, and allow us to weigh in. Now, here's one of the interesting things about Springfield. I'll talk about some of the ways to galvanize, and I'll talk about some of the obstacles. Hasn't been implemented yet. 2018 it passed, maybe 2019. Then the pandemic happened. Now we're revisiting this. We're talking to the governor's office. We're talking to the Secretary of State. We're talking to JCAR, which I will forget the acronym every time, but Natalia can tell you later. It's the legislators who form the rules, and we need to get that implemented now, right? So when a legislator, when an agency formulates a rule, they actually talk about how it's going to impact small businesses. They consider that, and they allow the small business community a better opportunity to weigh in. Put that on, passed it, but it's on our agenda right now, okay? We made it easier for home-based businesses in Chicago. We actually helped procure an appropriation for chambers of commerce that were struggling coming out of the pandemic. Most chambers weren't included in the Back to Business Grant Program, so we were able to get that done. And this past session, we passed legislation that increases and enhances the tax credits that a small business or any business can get for hiring a formerly incarcerated individual. So that went from 5% to 15%, and the ceiling went from $1,500 to $7,500. So it's a big deal. I mean, small businesses are struggling to hire employees. We hear about crime all the time, right? So how about proactively tackling that issue by trying to get people jobs? And it will reduce the cost of reincarceration. And that's sort of what we do messaging-wise, right? We have a good bill. We're able to hit all different sort of folks with that bill, and we were able to pass that. We got $1 million appropriation for that. Now, that's an important thing for small business to know. Nobody has to do this, by the way. It's not required. But I'll tell you, it's $7,500. It's a $7,500 tax credit for every job. If small businesses don't take advantage of this quickly, I'm quite confident larger corporations will. So, something to know. We have information on that. If anybody has any questions, they can ask me about that as well. All right? So now what I'll do, I feel like I'm like at the beginning of football practice, and I go through and I tell everybody what the practice plan is for the day. So seriously, interrupt me if you want at any time, okay? Here's how we do what we do in a nutshell, and I'll talk about our agenda. So, first thing we do is we engage and we listen in meetings like this. And if you don't feel comfortable or you don't want to tell me what's going on with your business, what sort of rule or regulation is impacting you, what type of tax credit might help you, email Sarah, email me, right? I mean, that's how our policy agenda is formed. People bring us ideas. They just brought us an idea. Somebody said, hey, we were able to pass legislation that created an office in the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity that will help folks in business succession who want to pass their businesses on to their employees because they want to retire. I move on. That thing's never been funded. It's now on our agenda for 2025. So we listen, we convene meetings like that, and then we form policies. The second thing we do is once we have a policy, it's about political engagement. So what do we do next? We start talking to legislators. We start talking to our partners. we begin to talk to the folks that we think might be great chief sponsors for legislation. So you happen to have a wonderful senator in your district. I mean that. I'm a big fan of Leader Cunningham. Leader Cunningham, I think Leader Cunningham's your senator. And he's got one of our really important bills that I'm going to talk about in a moment. So we engage, we begin to talk to other legislators, to other policymakers. We sort of build a big boat, and we try to push it forward. After that, grassroots advocacy. So small business owners don't have the money that big corporations have, and we work with big companies. And certainly, we're not anti-big company. A lot of big companies support the SBAC. But they've got money to lobby, and they've got time to lobby. And what do I mean by time to lobby? They have people that can be at Springfield all the time. Being there is half the battle. I'll tell you that right now. That's why we need to have a lobbyist in Springfield. Sitting there in the hall, literally going from legislator to legislator, trying to get bills passed. So we need to build grassroots engagement. We need messaging. We need to figure out what's going to resonate with people. And we really need to build critical mass to get things done. And then we just have to get it past the finish line, and that's really hard. Passing legislation is really hard. It's a lot easier to be against things. And sometimes we do take a position against a bill because of the way that it will impact small businesses and entrepreneurs and local communities. But getting a bill passed is hard. Getting an appropriation in the budget is brutal. Everybody's looking for money. Everybody wants some of the money that the state's giving out. You've got big interest, special interest, asking for a piece of the pie. If there are things that can help small businesses, we need to be there asking for that as well. So that in a nutshell is how we do what we do. And are there any questions so far? Okay. So then finally, I'll talk about what we're working on right now. So I talked about the bill we're trying to implement that would compel agencies to look at the impact of rules and regulations will have on small businesses. I hope if that moves forward and we're able to implement that, that will help you. I hope you will not be blindsided by a rule that you didn't see coming that will impact your business. Because a lot of people are hurt, not necessarily by the laws, but by rules they didn't see coming. We're working on a tax credit for businesses that own their properties that they're operating out of $1,500 for businesses with less than 50 employees to offset rising property taxes. Leader Cunningham filed that bill for us in the Senate, and we're working very hard on that. We're going to work on that in 2025. And property tax is a big issue. We know that. This is certainly not the silver bullet in Illinois to property tax relief. There's a lot of things we could talk about there that we've worked on, like government consolidation by choice, by the way, by the voters, school districts, things of that nature. There's a lot of things we have to work on property taxes, but this should help some small businesses. We're working on something called the Prescription Drug Affordability Board. Has anybody heard of that? Okay. Last year, we passed something on health insurance. It should help stabilize health insurance rates. PDABs would control the cost of certain drugs that are astronomically out of control by putting up guardrails. 33% of health insurance premiums are driven by drug prices, and a lot of folks are having trouble affording medicine. We're working on this legislation. We have partners like the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, the Black Chamber of Commerce, lots of chambers working on this. It got bottled up in committee. So another thing I'll tell you about in terms of trying to pass legislation, if you're interested, I hope you're interested, is how it's difficult to get bills out of committee. So a lot of times you'll think you have a ton of support for a piece of legislation, you'll have a lot of sponsors, it will go to a committee, and you will never see it again. Right now, this bill is languishing in committee. So we're going to redouble our efforts to try to control drug prices, but also lower the cost of health insurance for small businesses. So that's another initiative we're working on. We talked about trying to fund this center for succession planning and employee-owned businesses. Colorado's doing a lot of work on this right now. We take a lot of our ideas from what other states are doing well. in Chicago, and I know we're not in Chicago, but we have an entire agenda to cut red tape for small businesses. Now, we call it the Chicago Small Business Package because after we worked on this, the mayor has his own red tape agenda, which is fine. We're acknowledged in it. It's not bad stuff. But we've been working with about 35 chambers of commerce and BSOs in the city on an agenda to streamline zoning processes, to make sure debt checks don't keep entrepreneurs. Like, you know, if your cousin got a ticket 10 years ago and it got lost. Nobody knows anything about it. You go to try to get your business license and you can't because there's this old ticket and then nobody can figure out how to clear it up. We got a whole agenda. And we have 23 aldermen and alderwomen that have formally endorsed this package. As soon as we get to 26, we're moving forward and filing an ordinance or ordinances. And we have alders that will do that. And finally, and then I will open up for questions. I hope you have some. I can keep talking, but again, it gets really boring. Or I guess I can sit down. But we have a bill that says that 50% of tax incentives that go out through the state of Illinois should go to small businesses. We're extremely passionate about this legislation. And the reason why is we all pay taxes. And small businesses pay a lot of taxes, right? And then the state gives out a lot of money in tax incentives, tax breaks. And the majority of those overwhelmingly go to the largest corporations in the state, right? I gotta tell you, that their needs, we're not saying that EDGE tax credits, they're called EDGE, they've got other names, right? We're not saying that those should completely go away, right? But what we are saying is I think EDGE, it was something like in 2022 or 23, like 40 million, tell me if I'm wrong, please, for it, because we're videotaping. 40 million went to like large companies and like 3 million to small businesses with 50 and under employees, right? So we're all paying in, but the money going out is only going to a certain subset of businesses. We want to see 50-50, okay? That's what our bill calls for. That would be fair, and if it's not going to be 50-50, let's get it close. And again, we have a lot of wonderful big companies that are partners with the SBAC, but small businesses drive the economy, and this would be extremely helpful. So we're going to be back in Springfield probably in November. I mean, November is going to be very interesting. We all know that. But we'll be back in Springfield, and then next year we'll have this entire legislative agenda. If anybody's interested in getting engaged, just, you can do that through the Orland Park Chamber. And if you have other ideas, like all these ideas come from other folks, from chambers of commerce, let us know, because you'll be surprised. Your idea may become our legislation, or your legislation. So with that, I'd love to open it up to questions about the process, anything that's on your mind legislatively, anything really.
So I have a question. The PPP loan deductibility, are you saying that as a small business owner, they had to claim that as income?
No, they almost did. That was the concern. Okay. The concern is if you got a PPP loan, you were going to, and if there's any accountants out here, you know that, that you were going to have to claim that as income and pay taxes on it. Okay. And ultimately, what wound up happening is the PPP loans, there was deductibility for those PPP loans. You still might have had to claim them, but you were able to take your deduction. And it's been a long time. I mean, we were pushing, what we did is we worked with chambers to reach out to our federal representatives and tell them, look, you got to drive this narrative in DC. And they did. They really did. I mean, the legislators around here were great.
So you state Illinois, so is this a statewide deduction, or is this just for Illinois?
Well, that's over. That was PPP loans.
That's right. I know it's over, but
that was federal. That was federal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
But the health care is for the state of Illinois.
The health care for the state of Illinois. So we've done two things on health care. Last year, after years, we passed a bill called Rate Review and Transparency. Okay. And what that does is that gives the Department of Insurance some ability to go in and to see if rate increases actuarially make sense. So, I mean, the problem with the health insurance, and this is my opinion, with the health insurance industry at times in Illinois is there's not competition, right? Probably across the nation there's not competition. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that if there isn't real competition out there, and maybe at some point there will be, right, that there's at least some sort of guardrails around saying, hey, your rates are going up 15%, 20%, 25%. So our hope is that's going to begin to stabilize health insurance premiums. PDAB is also Illinois, and that's the Prescription Drug Affordability Boards.
So I have another question. So
Please keep them
friends that go to Mexico get
Yeah.
a bottle of ibuprofen, $800 for $1 or whatever. Here, you get a prescription, it's $20. Where is it being priced so high at? Why is it so less expensive there than here?
All right, so look, I don't want to, if you are a big fan of the pharmaceutical industry, and I know I'm speaking in a different chamber, I apologize for what I'm about to say. Okay, and you can disagree with me, you can throw things at me, we can talk about it, that's fine. There's a whole, it's called, and I can get you more information on this, this whole distribution chain, right? The cost of healthcare, or prescription drugs. And yeah, I mean, our argument is that that's skewed. Things are overpriced here, and it drives up insurance premiums. There's no negotiating power. So PDAB only would impact a couple drugs, but the drugs are so high priced, it drives up everybody's insurance premium. So as this bill sits in committee, full transparency, who do you think the big opponents are? I mean, it's not a secret. I'm not telling you anything like that's confidential information. It's the drug companies. I mean, you know, they want to protect their ability to make as much money as possible. We don't want them to make as much money as possible. We want them to make some money because they're a business. And that's the issue right now. And we have a whole flow chart we can get you about the cost of prescription drugs. Certainly, research and development is important. The drug companies will say, look, we got to keep doing research and development. We agree. They also do a whole lot of marketing on TV. So, you know, what we say is maybe that could be tampered down a little bit. And we could try to reduce the high cost of certain drugs. And they just did that, I believe, with insulin here. I mean, insulin prices were out of control. And I haven't followed the insulin debate in Springfield. There was a debate in Springfield, but it's sort of along the same lines. But this is going to be so hard. I just want you to know, it's going to be so hard. We have people at a peak. Yeah.
Go to a website called Cost Plus Drugs, owned by Mark Hughes, and you'll see a dramatic decrease in the medicine that you're buying.
Really?
He's changed the whole culture.
That's great to know. And that's great information for people here to know. So another byproduct of talking policy, which I know can be dry, is to get great information like that. There's a way around this. I mean, and there's a way to change it. There just has to be the political will and the information to do it. Thank you for that. Yes?
So my son, he just went back to school right now. My son has epilepsy, and they need to have medication for him, you know, at school all the time. Problem is, the medication that they're asking for him would cost me $1,200 a month. No guarantee that he would need it, but there's also an expiration date that it's only good for 3 months. So the medication I gotta pay, I can't afford $1,200 a month for a medication that he might not need and will expire in 3 months.
That's the story that people need to hear. Okay, first of all, I feel terrible about that, and you shouldn't have to make those decisions, right? So how we marry things together at the SBAC, right? We're a business organization. We work with groups that are worried about the affordability of drugs like that, right? Fairness and equity. And then we also say, why is this an issue for us, right? Small Business Advocacy Council. Because health insurance premiums are way too hard. That's going to impact your ability to run your business, right? It is all tied together. Love for you to get involved. definitely talk to Sarah about it. I mean, about getting involved as a member of the Orland Park Chamber. You can come to our policy committee meetings, you can get involved, we can connect you with people working on this issue. And I can't promise we'll have success, but what I can say is we'll leave it all on the field trying, okay? So those stories are the stories that actually legislators need to hear. Because when they put a face, a real face, like I'm gonna have to spend $1,200 to have an epilepsy, sorry, thank you, medication at school, and then it expires in 3 months. I mean, you should be testifying, basically, at hearings about that particular issue. Yeah, thank you. And Sarah's got it's Elliot at SBACIL.org, but you can connect through Sarah as well.
And that's the one great thing too about the chamber is all of the different, services that we provide. We can also, hook you up with. Like I always, tell members, if, you get out of the chamber what you put in, you also have to communicate with us too. If you guys are facing any sort of problems, or you have questions, or you're facing some sort of an issue, even if like the chamber, like I can't help you fully with policies, but I can connect you with people who are very knowledgeable with it, who could move things forward. And that's the whole thing of what a chamber is it connects people with one another. Not necessarily, oh, well, I expect making X amount of money by joining a chamber because you're bringing me customers so that I can make a profit. It goes way beyond that. It's making these different connections, like meeting Elliot, that can help you with maybe not business problems, but like personal problems, like family issues that, he needs to try to figure out so he can afford the health care that his son needs. So then that's what's great about being a member of OPACC. And I also want to say too, you see Mike over there filming. We do put all of our membership meetings on our website, so you guys can always go back to like re-listen to what Elliot's talking about. We also, any handouts that we provide, they're also on our website. So like say if you know somebody who his presentation would benefit, share the link to our website with them so that they can listen to what Elliot's talking about, or even downloading these handouts.
And I know my time is up. It's like 1:20, so, and I know you've got somebody else, but I think just another addition is like what you just talked about. Like, okay, maybe there's information that we can be shared through this policy discussion. So I think that's another benefit. And I'd love to talk about policy all day. I know we gotta go. But oh no, I know that's. I know that's. I mean, here, are there any other questions? Maybe I could do one more. Yeah.
So the new issue comes up. There's going to be a vote on some sort of bill or something. And you go, this is definitely bad for us. Do you have like a phone tree with all the organizations, with all the chambers? I've been a member of this chamber for many, many years. I've never seen anything say, call your senator about this. This is horrible.
So we do have something, we have had something before that's like that, and we're going to bring that back. And also part of our staffing up that we're doing right now is going to be to be able to monitor those sort of situations. Now there's 4,000 bills or so in Springfield, kind of making up that number. I think I'm right, but it's a lot, right? Some of them are goofy, like, and some of them are serious, okay? And a lot of them don't go anywhere. Goofy's probably not the right word, but they're just not terribly meaningful. We are going to do our best to provide information. We're already doing it with the city, right? So if we know public comment needs to be made on a potential ordinance, yeah, and then we'll say, hey, if you have comments, let us know so we can share it. So that's in the works, and hopefully we'll have that rolling very soon.
If I wanted to email you my question, where could I send it?
Elliot, ELLIOT, at SBACIL.org. And, the other thing, always feel free to loop in. I'm like I said, huge fan of the chambers.
Or please email me, so you guys know
Yeah.
who I am. Just email me and say, hey, Sarah, I have some questions, and I'd really love to get in contact with Elliot and Natalia here too, is also from the SBAC. Just even email me, I'd be more than happy to just.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Maybe you guys think about another question later. Again, just email me. If you do need my business card, I do have business card on me.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you,
All right,
Elliot.
thanks, everybody.
Years not only in the city of Chicago, but now it's starting to matriculate towards the suburbs, and what we're concentrating on is retail theft and robbery and break-ins at night. To that fact, I'd like to introduce you to Andy, and Andy's going to explain a little bit about how density works.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you all. So I'm with Density USA. We've been introducing security fog for the last 2 years in the United States and Canada. We are the master distributor. We work with a group in the UK. Security fog has been around for about 25 years. It's all over Europe. It's been used by businesses of every kind you can think of. All over Europe. We're in 80 countries around the world. So security fog, while it's new to a lot of folks in this country, most people you talk about never heard of it. But it's all over the world. And basically what it does is we shut down overnight break-ins. So as Brian mentioned, I mean, it's in the news all the time. There's break-ins. Criminals know, they know there's a camera there, they know there's an alarm system, but that does not deter them. No one is saying, well, I'm not going to break in that store because they have an alarm system. They break in very quickly, they're in and out in 3 or 4 minutes, they know what they want to grab, so they're in, they're out, and business owners are left to pick up the pieces. Insurance rates go up, cost of fixing the business, disruption of their business. What security fog would be, we would put a fogger in the business. We position the fogger about 20 feet back from the front door. So when that criminal breaks in, alarm's going to go off, cameras are coming on, but now the fog is going to deploy, and I'm going to do a quick 5-second blast out of the fogger. And what the fog is, it's basically water and glycol in a fluid bag that's heated to 300 degrees centigrade, and it creates a zero visibility environment. And we have different foggers to fill different size rooms. We have a very small one that can fill 13,000 cubic feet, called roughly 1,000 square feet, 12-foot ceiling. We've got this one is a 2,400. It'll fill, everything is by cubic feet. So like we can fill this room, but we also have some larger foggers that can fill where? We can fill three of our big foggers in the arena where the Blackhawks play. We can fill in 200 seconds. And when we say fill the room and zero visibility, I mean when you're in a fogged environment, you put your hand out, you can't see your hand.
You couldn't see each other.
You can't see your hand. So the point is, when the criminal's breaking in, they've got their game plan in place, but all of a sudden they're met with this fog, and they're like, well, what is this? They don't know if it's mustard, is it tear gas, what it is. So all of a sudden they're taking off their game. You can throw in a strobe that we can throw on there, a sounder. So all of a sudden, instead of smashing and grabbing, all they're thinking about is, I gotta get out of here. And we make sure that we don't trap them in the business, so we don't want to fog by the door. We don't want to get in and turn around and go, I can't see you get out. We put it far enough back so that it billows in their direction, and they just say, I'm getting out of here, and they leave. So we're going to limit the property damage. We're going to limit the inventory that's stolen. We work very closely with police and fire. The city of Chicago, the fire department has given the okay. If we work with the local fire marshal, because this will set off smoke detectors, but the security fog, when it comes out, it basically will hang in the air for about 40 minutes. It dissipates, goes away, and it's safe to breathe, safe for electronics. So and there's no residue to clean up. So it really is a system that is safe because we want to ensure the criminal's not going to get hurt. We make sure that by communicating with the police and fire, if we work with the local fire marshal, because it will set off smoke detectors. And imagine there's a break-in in a business, the retail business. Guy breaks in the front window, the fog billows out, the guy leaves. But now that fog, and what the fog will do when it comes out, and you'll see when I shoot off for 5 seconds, it billows out and it just kind of spreads out, and it'll basically go wall to wall, ceiling to floor, and just hang in the air. And then eventually it just kind of goes away. And it's, again, so it really is it's a unique system that a lot of businesses haven't heard of. We just put one into a pawn store in downtown Chicago. We're working with a lot of businesses on the Mag Mile. I joined a lot of associations and try to talk with groups. And I realize that everyone in this room, and I say, well, at the library, I don't know that we need a security fog.
Maybe not, but maybe you know somebody that owns a business. Maybe you know someone that could benefit from another level of protection. Now, we're not saying, well, if you have fog, you don't need cameras and alarms. No, no, you need all those things. It brings the police, and certainly you need it for your business. This is another layer of protection that we say is an immediate threat deterrent. Alarms and cameras necessary, but they don't deter the criminal. The criminal's not going to break in. We also give stickers that we put on the front of the buildings. In the UK, again, fog has been around Europe for 15 years. Businesses know about it. Insurance companies give discounts for having a fogger. Because insurance companies know I'm going to pay out less in premiums and less in payments. And also criminals now get to the point where they know that when they see this yellow sticker which says there's fog in the building, criminals avoid it. Because they know they can't beat the fog. Because when you break in, you will not be able to see what you can't. Our tagline is you can't steal what you can't see.
And to his point about the insurance industry, we have a lobbyist, a preliminary lobbyist that's working with us right now and trying to get in front of these people to explain how important it is for retail businesses to have these in their stores and make it easier for us to then get access through the fire marshals that have these approved, more importantly, to get a discount for their insurance companies. Because in the long run, it benefits them by not having to write out of the plan.
Now, again, I mentioned we coordinate with police and fire. So if we talk to a local fire marshal, and the fire marshal says, I don't want to have these in, then we don't put them in. We coordinate and communicate. Now, the city of Chicago, we explain everything, and we lay out a game plan and say, what do you guys need? You know, there's all kinds of different ways, different fire marshals, different things they want. So we find a path forward to say, what boxes do we check to where you'll say this is okay? We know it benefits the business. And we want to make sure that the firemen and policemen are also safe. Yeah, any question?
Can it confuse the fog or smoke?
Well, when you say it will set off smoke detectors. It will not set off sprinkler systems because there's no heat associated with fog. So yes, I mean, if someone was driving by, if there was a fog business and there was fog billowing out the front window where the criminal broke in, if you didn't know any better, you'd say, there's a fire in that building. So yes.
But the police and the fire department are notified when we get the okay to put a fogger into a retail store. They're notified by the business owner and ourselves. They're involved in the communication when anything goes off in the store.
So we do demos with the local police and fire. We make sure they know what fog is. And a fireman would tell you, because we've had firemen in demos, they said there's no way we'd ever, confuse fog with smoke. And the reason is, smoke will always roil up, and smoke doesn't turn white until you put water on it. It's the steam from the water in the fire. So our fog, when it goes into a building, just hangs. So if you walked up and there was just a wall of white. Now the other thing, I meant along those lines, we also have a way you can activate the fogger remotely. So let's say there's some unrest in the city, some things were going on in the neighborhood around your business, and you get alerts on your security camera and say, well, something's going on, I'm afraid they might break into my business. You can just pull up your phone, hit shoot, and you can fill your business with fog before they even break in. And the fog will just hang in the business for about 40 minutes, and it'll dissipate. But after 10 minutes, if you wanted to fire it again, you could. Because the heating element heats back up, and out of each
fluid bag inside.
Each fluid bag, you get 3 or 4 shots. So again, and so once you put it in, you change a battery every 2 years. You change a fluid bag every 2 years. Possibly you get insurance discounts. So is this needed by every business? Not necessarily. Is it needed by every store in a chain? Not necessarily. But if you're in a place where there's been break-ins around me, if you're in a business, we talk to a lot of jewelry stores, convenience stores, pawn stores, gun stores, cannabis. Every kind of business. I see restaurants in downtown Chicago get broken in all the time. They break in and they steal the cash register. So every type of business is certainly at risk. Do I think we need 50 foggers for this community? Maybe not, but maybe there's a few stores that say, sometimes it's just a peace of mind. I always tell the story that I've got a smoke detector in my house. I've been in my house for 32 years. I change the batteries every year. It's never gone off, 32 years. But I want to have it there because it's peace of mind to say, that thing goes off, I want to be alerted to it. So security fog may never be activated at your place of business, but it's a level of protection. And like we put one into a consignment store on Clybourne. She'd been broken into 2 times. She was fed up, and she went to her alderman, and she was saying, we had something about crime, so we put a fogger in. There's actually, anyone that's interested, I can send you some links of what the fog looks like. We've been on Chicago, in fact, we'll be on the Chicago News this week with this stories about foggers. And this woman that was broken into, she did not appear on camera, but she did talk and say, I sleep better at night. And the way she deploys the fog is remotely with her phone. Because she gets a security alert on her camera, she wakes up, she's 2 miles away, shoot, she fills her store with fog. But 2 times, criminals broke in, stole some high dollar handbags, and got away with it. So, yes.
Judgment-free zone, I watch a lot of news. When is the criminal starting to wear masks?
It doesn't have to see the fog. I mean, and the fog is safe to breathe. I mean, there's a smell to it. There's a glycol scent, but it's safe to breathe. And again, the mask isn't going to.
The premise behind the fog is that they have no reason to go into the store because they can't see the showcases. They can't see their hand in front of their face. And if they're smart enough, they're going to realize that they're now caught in a situation where someone's going to report the fog in the store and the police are going to be there. They don't want to be in that store when the police show up.
But I asked a policeman once how often there's been a break-in, and I talked to some businesses and I said, you had a break-in, you called the police. And this one business said, I'll tell you the truth, if you have a break-in, they don't have enough officers to respond to you. I mean, now, there's a shooting, they'll come see you, but if there's just a break-in, they'll say, we'll get to you tomorrow when you get there. So there's this, unfortunately, police are overwhelmed with the amount of crime, and this is just another way for you to, it's a way to kind of shut it down and make sure that your business is protected.
And just for all of you here, I've already had a verbal presentation with the Orland Park Police Department because I do work with them with my other products, so they know about this, and they know that we're here today.
Yeah.
So I think of creating a home version.
Well, there's a model we have, which is our 390, which covers smaller spaces. So we had a lot of home people call and say, I've got a room with guns in it or safes. So we created a smaller fogger, which is, cost a lot less, but also, it basically gives some people, if there's a break in your house, like at my house, I know, by the time my alarm company calls me, and then at that point, a minute, 2 minutes after the alarm goes off, because I let the dogs out in the middle of the night, and like, oh my God, I forgot to put the alarm off. 2 minutes they call me, then they call the police. If there was someone wanting to cause me harm, so what the fog would be allowed you to do is I'll just hit the fogger while you're laying in bed. You can have a panic button we put in. You turn the fog on, it would fill your lower level and just drive that criminal out of the way. They're not going to get to you. Also, we have people that say, well, I go on extended vacations. Well, again, you can deploy this thing remotely. Well, you could be in Florida, you can deploy the fogger, but you also set up with motion PIRs. So there's different ways you activate it. Sometimes it's not just the alarm. Sometimes it's a motion detector. Sometimes it's a glass break. When glass breaks, the fog goes. So there's lots of ways to activate it. We work with current alarm companies. We can install as a standalone system. Lots of options. I mean, if anyone has I've got business cards, and if you have any interest in just learning more, I just send information about kind of recapping how I talked today. I just say, here's how it all works. Here's some videos of the fog. Here's some of the stories that were on the local Chicago TV stations. If you have interest, let's talk. There's no hard sell on my part. I just share the story.
So I was Rob last March 1st, and I have the Ring camera.
Right.
And they were on the Ring camera. They were in my home. I pulled up in my garage. They heard my garage door open. One was in the basement.
Oh,
I
wow.
walked to the back door. They ran out the back. They knew I had the Ring. They knew I had an alarm. The cops came in with guns drawn. They were right there really fast. They chased them through. I think they live in a secure gated community. They cut through the fence. They chased them through the woods with the dogs. And the cops said they know they have at least 10 minutes to get in and out of your house.
Yeah.
And they were
Well,
in my house for.
They already
scoped
They
my
were
house.
by your house many times.
Yep.
They know those Ring systems are very affordable, but they're not really used for.
Their face was right here.
It's not the system I have.
And they had masks on.
They can
so-
access the Ring cameras
I mean,
before
it's
they
a
get
turn.
in. Their firewalls are very, very weak.
So for someone like yourself, the fogger might be just peace of mind.
Just attach it to your alarm panel.
Yeah, we could do that, or we set up a standalone system. I mean, there's lots of options. So if I share information with anyone that you say, I know, you said, someone said, well, talk about security, and you say, I got a guy, I know a fog guy, you know, I send information over, take a look at it.
It's on the driver's license.
Yeah.
Fog guy.
Yeah, fog guy.
Anyway, we developed a smaller, I think, a long-winded answer to your question, though. We developed a smaller unit because we're gonna be selling those to delivery vans that either deliver cannabis or cash from casinos.
Yeah, we've got a specific model for that. The small version is great for smaller rooms, homes.
And you're working with a trucking company, right?
Yeah, working with a major trucking company that delivers to 7-Elevens, and people are breaking into their trucks while they're delivering. So they're going to basically activate this with the panic alarm. So they'll be in the store, see activity by their truck, hit the button, fog will fill the back end of their truck. So if we're ready, I'll just do the fog, and I know you guys have things to get done this afternoon. So this is a 5-second blast. Now this thing can go for 60 seconds.
Did I tell you to get back there? Here we go. Play the criminal today.
Right? Not too long.
That's it. All right. Oh, yeah. That was only 5 seconds. And those two people just
So imagine that going for 40 seconds in your business, and you'll see how the fog will billow out because it is heated. Now there's no heat. If you can smell there's a glycol scent, but it always rises up and then settles back down. But that's a 5-second blast. Again, we can go. This machine can go for 68 seconds. It'll cover 84,000 cubic feet. We have two other models that cover smaller amounts of space, and we got big models that cover an entire warehouse.
That is fascinating.
And what really gets the criminal is that blast, that noise. You're like, whoa, what is it? Take them off their game. That's all it is. So, that's security, folks. So I got business cards.